Recently, many reservoirs have also sounded the alarm, opening their gates and beginning to release floodwaters. However, these alarms are not heard by people outside the reservoirs. Massive floods have occurred in many cities across China, with devastating scenes. This is the effect of Typhoon Bavi. Chinese state media claim that Bavi was the strongest typhoon to make landfall in Zhejiang in July since 1949. Strangely, Bavi seemed to have eyes, bypassing Taiwan. You might ask, why have floods become so common in China? Why do Chinese reservoirs dare to release water without warning, flooding towns and villages? In the second half of the program, we will answer these questions. First, let's look at the amazing Typhoon Bavi. Although Bavi initially came with great force, by July 12th it had weakened to a tropical storm and continued moving away from Taiwan. Taiwan's Central Weather Bureau also lifted the typhoon warnings. Because this typhoon did not directly hit Taiwan, Taiwanese people were amazed. Taiwanese media reports that, according to current statistics, 135 people have been injured across Taiwan. The Agriculture and Food Agency of Taiwan's Ministry of Agriculture, after compiling data from various county and city governments, estimates the losses to agricultural products and private facilities at NT 20.34 million, approximately US $630,000. Of course I'm scared. It's just that the typhoon doesn't seem too bad at the moment. It's much better than the previous ones, which is why I've dared to come out. The wind and rain aren't nearly as severe. Many netizens left comments such as, "The island where the gods reside. This is truly the first time I've seen a typhoon move like this. It's amazing." And, "God bless Taiwan. Taiwanese people must be kind, so the gods will always protect us." Some went to former President Tsai Ing-wen's Threads page with comments. Previously, the former president had written, mentioning a remote control joke, saying, "Don't worry about the remote control thing. If it really exists, I hope it has only one button, to let the typhoon turn so everyone is safe." However, what truly protects everyone is to prepare in advance. Therefore, netizens wrote, "Did you press it? Why is the typhoon so obedient? It really turned. Now it must have been given a command. Replacing the batteries really makes it more effective." Typhoon Bavi, after moving away from Taiwan, made landfall in Zhejiang, China on the evening of July 11th. So, some Chinese nationalists were angry about Bavi's path, questioning whether it was being manipulated by the US to bypass Taiwan and head towards China. China's National Meteorological Center issued a red alert for heavy rain. Bavi continued to bring strong winds and rain to Fujian and Zhejiang provinces. On the eve of Typhoon Bavi's landfall, Shanghai and Hangzhou experienced unusual pinkish-purple skies. Bavi then moved inland, and due to its large size, heavy rainfall affected more than 10 provinces and municipalities, including Jiangxi, Anhui, Hebei, Henan, Hebei, Tianjin, and Beijing. The same heavy rainfall resulted in vastly different reactions across China. In relatively affluent provinces or cities, urban construction and drainage systems are in place, and urban management systems are more mature, so no major problems occurred. Of course, after the typhoon, there was still devastation, while some cities were engulfed in devastating floods. For example, in Quancheng County, Chengde City, Hebei Province, severe urban flooding occurred. Many cars were swept away by the floodwaters. The floodwaters nearly submerged rooftops. Residents cried for help. Many residents told overseas Chinese media that their shops were swept away, their roller shutters and windows were shattered, and they had never experienced such a large flood. This is what Quancheng looks like after the flood. Now let's look at Shenyang city in northeast China.
哎呦我山体滑坡了，哎呦我去，完了一楼完了，一楼完了。
On July 13th, the city's main roads had become a vast expanse of water, and some bridge piers and height restriction barriers were completely submerged. The floodwaters had completely covered the bridge arches, and the flow was extremely strong. Even the roads above the bridges were submerged, reaching knee-deep. The water depth on the main road is at least 13 feet in some places. People who don't know better might think they're watching a river when they watch the videos, but it's actually a main urban road. See the water? The cars are submerged. All services are suspended today. Let me show you. This is 4 meters deep. The water level has reached there. The pole is 3 meters. Now the water level is at the level of the overpass. See? It's full of cars. All cars. We don't even know whose goods they are. Shenyang City issued a red alert for heavy rain. Extreme torrential rain swept across the entire city, causing widespread and severe flooding in the main urban area. In many sections, the water was chest deep, many vehicles stalled due to flooding, and traffic in some areas was nearly paralyzed. You can tell that whether it's pedestrians, non-motorized vehicles, or motorized vehicles, no one can pass through this flooded section. It's completely blocked. Emergency measures including school closures, work stoppages and production halts, transportation shutdowns and business closures were implemented simultaneously throughout the city. Chinese media reported that on July 12th and 13th, the Han River released floodwaters during torrential rain. A local blogger also posted a video with the words, "Heavy rainfall continues in Shenyang. The Han River's water level is surging and the floodgates are being opened at full capacity to release floodwaters," showing the Han River flooding. Parts of the railings were still visible in the video, but within half an hour, the entire railings were submerged, vividly illustrating how quickly the floodwaters rose. The Han River is the mother river of Shenyang, flowing through the city and serving as Shenyang's most important flood control and water supply river. When the basin experiences heavy rainfall, changes in the river's water level will directly affect the city's flood control safety. In the comments section under these videos of the Han River releasing water, many locals expressed their dissatisfaction. Some said, the 1995 flood was a lesson. Why not just open the sluice gates earlier during the flood season and release water gradually? Why wait until the water level is so high that it's unavoidable before releasing it? I don't know what they were thinking. Others said, since we have a weather forecast, they should just release water earlier, not wait until it's absolutely necessary. Many others believe that the release of the water from the Dahuofeng Reservoir upstream of the Han River caused the river to overflow. Public information shows that the Dahuofeng Reservoir is located upstream of the Han River and is the most important large reservoir controlling the entire Han River flood. All Han River floodwaters flowing towards Shenyang are regulated by the Dahuofeng Reservoir. When upstream torrential rains persist, reservoirs typically need to balance flood control and water storage, so officials closely monitor water levels and discharge rates. We have reported that on July 6, due to torrential rains, the Liulan Reservoir in Hangzhou, Nanning, Guangxi experienced a dam collapse. Before the collapse, authorities opened all floodgates at 6 a.m. but did not notify downstream residents to evacuate until 8 a.m., 2 hours after the floodgates were opened. The dam subsequently breached, and floodwaters quickly inundated several downstream villages and towns, with some areas reaching 2-story depths, causing significant losses to local residents. Although officials claim 39 deaths, it's unlikely anyone would believe that number. I am currently in Muge village, one of the worst-hit areas in Hangzhou. It's been 5 days since the floodwaters were released, and look how deep the silt is. Within the CCP system, the death toll in most large-scale disasters is limited to around 30 people. This seems to be a tacitly agreed-upon range. In recent years, when torrential rains cause floods, it's often accompanied by the unannounced and unwarranted release of water from reservoirs, which is a major cause of significant loss of life and property. The CCP's legal system has relevant laws and regulations on flood diversion and flood control, but no laws on regulations specifically addressing reservoir discharge. It's a legal vacuum. Why? Because the vast majority of large and medium-sized reservoirs are state-owned. If there were legal provisions in place, the relevant officials would be held responsible for the consequences of releasing water. However, the public has no say in whether or not the water is released, and may not even have the right to know. In this legal vacuum, officials become more cunning. From the perspective of reservoir management or ownership, issuing notices or warnings before releasing water makes it difficult to deny them afterward, and affected people can demand compensation and government accountability. But if they don't notify, they can deny the release of water afterward, leaving them with no recourse. Besides, there's no law requiring a specific number of hours of advance warning. Therefore, to this day, no government official has ever been prosecuted or convicted for failing to issue warnings for reservoir discharge, nor has anyone been disciplined by the party for this. Naturally, there's no reason issuing prior warnings and notifications about water releases would benefit the party and the government. Why don't most reservoirs release water before heavy rains to empty them for flood storage? Many reservoirs in China, including those built on rivers, are said to have two primary functions: power generation and flood control. In reality, these two functions are contradictory. Only one can be chosen. Power generation requires maintaining high water levels, while flood control requires releasing water to create storage space during heavy rains. Furthermore, many reservoirs are contracted out for economic development, such as fish farming. This benefits the reservoir owners and mostly local governments, whether for power generation or development. Releasing water offers no economic or other advantages to the authorities, related parties, or government officials, so they have no reason to do so prematurely. Unless absolutely necessary, such as not releasing water would cause the dam to collapse. In cases like the Liulan Reservoir in Nanning, Guangxi on July 6th, it was even too late to release water. The dam had already been washed away. Since seizing power in 1949, the CCP has embarked on a frenzied campaign to build reservoirs and other projects to alter mountains and rivers. These alterations have prevented floodwaters from being diverted during the rainy season. For example, from the 1950s to the 1990s, the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River underwent a frenzied land reclamation project. The areas of Dongting Lake and Poyang Lake, the two largest natural regulating reservoirs of the Yangtze, shrank by more than a third, and hundreds of smaller lakes disappeared completely. After torrential rains upstream, the Yangtze River's floodwaters had nowhere to go, but were squeezed into the narrow main channel, backed by dikes, leading to a rapid rise in water levels. In the lower reaches, with the urban expansion of the Yangtze River Delta over the past few decades, many low-lying wetlands and riverbanks that were originally used for flood discharge during the flood season have been filled in and replaced with high-rise buildings, asphalt roads, or industrial parks. Rainwater cannot infiltrate upon landing, and all rushes into the river channel instantly. The river's natural buffer bends have been replaced with artificial concrete revetments, depriving the river of its water storage capacity. This results in even a normal heavy rainfall causing water levels on both banks to soar to historical warning levels within hours. Of course, for the CCP, the public doesn't need to know this. Every year during the major floods, the CCP's official media will claim, "This year we have encountered a once-in-a-century flood." That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.